Hello students. Today we are going to start with the last part, or I will say last chapter of class 10th chemistry, periodic classification of elements. Today we know 118 elements and we need to classify these elements. But initially these many elements were not known. Around 1800 AD, only 30 elements were known. And these need to be classified. Now the very first thing is why there is a need of classification. We need classification in every part of our life. If you go to greengrocer, he classifies the vegetables according to their size, their shape. If you go to, let's say, cloth shop, their cloths are sorted out according to their shape, sizes, color, design. So classification is required in each and every part of the life. That is okay that in everyday life we need to sort out the things. Even when you people are arranging your room, you people sort out your books, or you people classify your books according to the books you are reading every day. You are separating out the copies, the fair copies, the rough copies, etc. But why we need to classify the elements? The very first answer for this is it makes the study easier. Secondly, if you want to study a particular element, the study of group gives us idea about the study, or I will use the word properties of element from that group. For example, if I want to study all halogens, so if I study halogen group, I will be able to determine the property of any halogen from that group. Thirdly, a proper classification gives us a systematic approach. And therefore, we need to classify the elements. The very first attempt of classification, it was into metals and non-metals. So this was the very first attempt of classification. All the elements which were known by that time, they were classified into metals and non-metals, but this attempt failed. Now why this attempt failed? Because only metals and non-metals are considered in this. But slowly it was found that there are certain elements which behave like metal as well as non-metal. And such elements are called as metalloids. So this metalloids was not given the place in this attempt of classification, and therefore this concept of classification failed. If I overall say about this chapter we can divide into two parts. The first part is the history of classification, and second, then we will be studying various trends or various properties in periodic table. Whenever we are discussing about chemistry, obviously we cannot ignore the study of periodic table. Periodic table is the core of chemistry, and very first question that student asks the teacher, that do we have to learn periodic table? There are many attempts, or there are many, I will say, tricks to learn periodic table. We'll be discussing those tricks when actual periodic table will be taken in consideration. But overall speaking, this chapter we can divide in two parts. One is history and the second part is various trends. What type of question can be framed for this chapter? We can have certain direct question, we can have give reason questions, we can have conceptual questions. So in your board exam, the main pattern of the question from this chapter will be this one. So we are going to begin with the first part, history of classification, in today's video. There were many attempts of classification throughout the history of the classification of elements, and the first is this one, metals and non-metals. Every attempt of classification had its own advantages and disadvantages. We have to study all those. Now once we came to know that okay, this model of classification failed, then obviously the second model was proposed, and the second model was proposed by Daubeney. The second attempt of classification was given by Daubeney. Daubeney was a German chemist. If you want to understand any law, if you want to remember the statement of the law, pay attention to the word. This law is about the triads. Now what is the meaning of triad? Triad means group of three. So here we'll be forming the group of three elements. Now how these three elements will be arranged? These three elements, first of all, are arranged in increasing atomic mass. Then what is the new thing? The new thing is that the average of atomic mass of first and second element is equal to atomic mass of second element. I will give a random example for this. Let us have three elements A, B and C. They have the atomic masses, let's say 6, 5 and 7. So first of all we have to arrange them in increasing atomic mass. Increasing atomic mass, so B followed by C and at last A. 5, 6, 7. Now you can see the average of first and second, that is the average atomic mass of B and A is equal to atomic mass of C. 5 plus 7 by 2, that is equal to 6, and that is the atomic mass of C. So this is Daubeney's law of triad. Now we'll have a certain specific example, but before that we will learn the statement of Daubeney's law. So what is the statement of Daubeney's law of triad? That when three elements are arranged in a triad, triad means a group of three, but that also in a specific order, in order of increasing atomic mass, then what is the impact? The atomic mass of the middle element was roughly equal to average atomic mass of the other two elements. Now let us have one specific example with respect to chemistry. Let us take the example of lithium, sodium and potassium. The atomic mass of lithium is 7. The atomic mass of potassium is 39. So these are the atomic masses. Now if I calculate the average of these two, 7 plus 39 by 2, it comes to be 23. And we know that 23 is the atomic mass of sodium. So this answer matches, and therefore we will say lithium, sodium and potassium forms a Daubeney triad. Let us take one more example. Next example is calcium, strontium, barium. The atomic mass of calcium is 40.1. That of barium is 137.3. Now if we take the average of these two, 40.1 plus 137.3 upon 2, then that is equal to 87.6. And that 87.6 is the atomic mass of strontium, approximately equal to. So this calcium, strontium and barium, it will form another Daubeney triad. Similarly, chlorine, bromine and iodine with their atomic masses 35.5. Atomic mass of iodine is 126.9 and that of bromine is 79.9. So this also forms a Dobonnier triad. What is the main thing about this triad? That the average of atomic masses of two elements is equal to atomic mass of the middle element. As I told you, every attempt of classification had its own plus points and minus point. Similarly, Dobonnier's law had its own advantage that it was the very first systematic approach. Or I will say it gave an idea that yes, we can use atomic mass as a basis for classification. But at the same time, it had disadvantages also. What was the disadvantage? That only 3 triads were arranged. Only 3 triads could be formed. So only 9 elements could have been classified, and that time many elements were known and these elements could not be fit into Dobonnier's law. Therefore, this law was discarded and came a new law called as Newland's law of octaves. So we'll study that. So Newland's law of octaves. The meaning of the word octave is 8. And this table is called as Newland's table. The Newland's law of octaves says that the classification works according to musical notes. Like in classical music system, we have notes of the music. These are sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, and 8th note is repeated sa. So Newland says that elements, when they are arranged in increasing atomic mass, every 8th element will have same property. Let us try to understand this with example. I have considered lithium. So lithium I will label as 1. And from here I will start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So lithium and sodium, they will show similar chemical properties. Let us have one more example. We have taken carbon as number 1 element. From here we will start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So carbon and silicon, they will show similar chemical properties. So the properties of every 8th element was similar to first element, just as it is there in the musical notes. So this was the classification which was much more logical attempt of classification. And basically it was in tabular form. And therefore it became more successful as compared to Dobonnier's law of triad. But there were many drawbacks also. The very first drawback, that this law was applicable only for the lighter elements. Now which are the lighter elements? The starting elements with atomic number till 20. So this law was applicable only till calcium, lighter elements. The second drawback, that time only 56 elements were known. So he said that if today 56 elements exist, tomorrow also 56 elements will exist and no new element can be discovered. And this was the biggest drawback of Newland's law of octaves. Third drawback. Now as you can see, at these two places there is a jumbling of the elements. Now this jumbling was done only to make this arrangement possible, and that was a wrong thing. The next drawback, as you can see here, hydrogen, fluorine, chlorine, cobalt, nickel and bromine, these are placed in the same group, whereas hydrogen shows different properties, fluorine, chlorine, bromine shows different properties, and cobalt, nickel, they show completely different properties. But all these were placed in the same element and that is not according to the classification. For next disadvantage, observe this table carefully. You will see that there are no noble gases. Noble gases like helium, neon, krypton, argon, radon, these are absent in this table. Why? Because noble gases were not discovered that time, and therefore there was no place for noble gas. Actually, the discovery of noble gas took place long after this table was given, because noble gases do not react. So they are inert and therefore their properties were not known. But in this table there was no place for the noble gases. And lastly, there was no place for isotopes. We know that isotopes are the elements which have same atomic number but different atomic mass. For example, oxygen. Oxygen have two isotopes, oxygen 16 and oxygen 18. Oxygen 16 and oxygen 18. Now these two isotopes have different atomic mass. Then if one oxygen is given place here in this slot, this oxygen with atomic mass 18, that has to be given place in some other slot, which is not possible in this arrangement, and therefore isotopes, they were not given that much importance, or isotopes were ignored in this table. Therefore this law failed. So although Newland's law was much more systematic as compared to Daubigny's law of triads, but still it had a big list of disadvantages, and therefore this law also failed, and hence came in existence the next law, that is Mendeleev's law, about which we'll be studying in our next video. Before we wind up today's session, here are certain questions for you people. Go through the video carefully, read your NCERT books and try to solve these questions. That's all for the day. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.